जय हिंद दोस्तों, मैं हूं मेजर मोहम्मद अली शाह और मेरे को बड़ी खुशी हो रही है। मेरा बहुत बड़ा सौभाग्य है कि मैं अपने एक बहुत ही इलस्ट्रियस सीनियर के साथ अभी गुफ्तगू में होऊंगा। एक ऐसे जनरल ऑफिसर जो कि कारगिल वॉर वेटरन है और इन्होंने इंडो तिब्बत, बल्कि इंडो चाइना मैं बोलूंगा, इंडो तिब्बत बोलूं, वहां की ईस्ट में काफी इनका तजुर्बा रहा है, राइट फ्रॉम लद्दाख टू तवांग जो अरुणाचल पे पड़ता है, जहां से मैंने टैंगा तवांग के पास में टैंगा वैली, जहां से अपनी स्कूलिंग, अपनी परवरिश की स्कूलिंग मैंने वहां से स्टार्ट करी थी। क्लास नर्सरी में तालीम वहां से स्टार्ट की थी मैंने। इन्होंने हाल ही में एक किताब लिखी है, चाइना बिट्रेज अगेन। द फर्स्ट बिट्रेयल वाज इन 1962। बल्कि 1962 में जहां पे लड़ाई लड़ी गई थी, वहां पे सर ने अपनी ब्रिगेड कमांड करी थी विद डिस्टिंक्शन, जब सर ब्रिगेडियर साहब थे। और ये सर की एक की किताब के बारे में बात करते हैं, और ये यस्टरडे वाज आर्मी डे, तो कल खास तौर से आप सुनिए, इससे बेहतर और क्या मौका होगा आर्मी डे पे इतनी बेहतरीन किताब रिलीज होना। इट विल बी अवेलेबल ऑनलाइन and available on all your nearest bookstores, and tomorrow officially it will be out. And I managed to call up sir and I managed to convince sir कल बुक आउट हो रही है, कैसे भी आप मेरे को इंटरव्यू दिए सर। सर वाज वेरी काइंड, सर ने हंसे और सर ने बोला, यू आर अ ब्रदर ऑफिसर, आई कैन नॉट से नो टू यू। एंड हियर वी आर इन कन्वर्सेशन विद मेजर जनरल डॉक्टर अशोक कुमार। सर जय हिंद सर, थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर टेकिंग योर टाइम सर।
Jai Hind, Ali, thank you very much. You have already covered the lot of ground before the conversation really starts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Sir, let's go straight to the point about your book, sir. China Betrays Again, a very interesting, a very intriguing title. So, आपको ये टाइटल बहुत ही एप्ट है और मैं आपकी दाग देता हूं, आपने ये टाइटल चुना। ये टाइटल आपके जहन में कैसे आया कि आप इसको टाइटल रखेंगे अपनी किताब का, सर?
I think that is a very pertinent question. Whenever an author decides a name, he has to think multiple times as to what he actually wishes to convey. As you already brought out, I have had the opportunity through the blessings of the our own MS branch that not only I served in Kargil during our Vijay, but I have had the opportunity to look at the entire border of China, which it shares with India. And when I was in headquarters Eastern Command during April-May 2020, it was at that time the transgressions in Eastern Ladakh took place. Now, everybody, including me, we did whatever we could do to thwart its, Chinese design. But in the process, I realized that the awareness about China, its behavioral pattern, is not known to most of us, despite large of information being in the open domain. While no classified and confidential information must be brought to the discussion or in the book in any manner that is against the national interest, but there is a lot of information which is in open domain, and I strongly feel that each Indian needs to know that. My interaction post my retirement in October 21 with youth indicated to me that the awareness about China is almost missing, except that they have vague memories of 1962. There also they don't have the requisite details available, except that people who are deployed in the border are discussing it day and night. That is the small segment of the people who are aware about the certain intricacies. So I started writing, and most of my writings are China centric. uh, in these writings, I realized that China had first betrayed India in a very big way, which you also mentioned in run up to 1962, and 1962 happened. And that too, despite the Panchshil agreement being signed by India and China, and also the Hindi Chini Bhai Bhai slogan. But China backstabbed us. Uh, Not only these two aspects, India had gone really out of the way to support China in anything and everything. But China, returned in a different fashion altogether. So that was the first betrayal. On the similar line, I felt when the relations were very buoyant between India and China on trade and number of other issues, A number of bilateral agreements were signed on peace and tranquility. Large number of confidence building measures were in place, and despite all that, in April May 2020, it transgreded at multiple locations in East Ladakh. And those transgressions are continuing in some manner even till date, when shortly we are going to complete 4 years. So this is the second bigger betrayal of China. While 1962 war was a betrayal, but the war was executed and it got over in about just a month's time. But this standoff, which is continuing, it is now going to near 4 years, and there are no signs of actually this getting resolved, despite all efforts on the political front, diplomatic front, military front, and all kind of diplomacies which have taken place. So this is one of the very big betrayals which China has done. So I thought it wise that the book should be named as China Betrays Again, and in that I am trying to showcase not only the current events. Current events, in any case, they have found place, different rounds of core commander conference level talks, what all locations have been resolved, how things have progressed in SEO meet and elsewhere. But the book makes an honest effort to trace the behavioral pattern of China in past, puts that in extrapolated manner in present, and also look as to how he is going to behave in coming days. So one has taken the details from 1911, when the dynastic rule got changed, and the it came under ROC, and thereafter ROC and PRC, those kind of how those things happened, how they were friendly at times, how they were opposing each other. And finally, it was on 1st October 1949 when the PRC took over control of the present day China, which is the current regime. So, how that movement has taken place from 1911 to 1949, that has been traced historically. Then thereafter, a deliberate effort has been made from 1949 onwards till Xi Jinping rose to power in 2013. Now, this period is very important because different presidents and the heads of states of China have taken the country in their own style in different manner, on socio-political front, on economic front, and also on the military front, and how they have shaped today. This period also indicates as to how China has gone ahead on expansionist agenda. Just within a short span of time, it becoming independent on 1st October 49. It took over Xinjiang, it took over Tibet, it took over large number of islands. Subsequently, as it progressed in time, then Macau, Hong Kong, the erstwhile Turkestan, or the Inner Mongolia, so to say, and number of places it amalgamated in itself. And now it is eyeing the Taiwan. So how that Taiwan and China imbroglio shapes up, what is likely to happen, how it is going to affect the Indian interest and also the interest of all those countries in the world who are looking for the free navigation in the Pacifics. It also talks of the China's effort to normally, if you see the boundaries, they have a physical delineation on the land. In maritime, the physical delineation of boundaries don't exist, but China for the first time has done that by drawing the imaginary points of the initially 11 dash lines, and then subsequently 9 dash line. Again, now it has come up with the 10th dash line on western portion of the Taiwan. So it is trying to change the contours and the narrative of its neighbors by usurping the areas which it doesn't hold and deserve. Not only that, it also acts on multiple fronts. It has brought out new land border law. It has got more than 600 model villages deployed along the line of actual control. So by doing all that, the subsequent possibility of border negotiation has actually got vanished. Any negotiation, to my mind, as this books also highlights, is going to be the on line of actual control only. The current effort to put lot of troops from the Chinese side, and of course India had to respond. India didn't have any choice, and it has responded very, very well. More than 50,000 troops are there on the border on both the sides. So LAC is also now moving towards the LOCification, which has got its own implication in terms of the force deployment expenditures from both sides. It is not that India is incurring expenditure, China is incurring the larger expenditure, really speaking. And as we go ahead in time, our infrastructure improves, our axial and lateral connectivities improve, the all weather connectivity improve, our expenditure will come down. And I'm sure the government of India has taken due caution to make this infrastructure dual use, so that not only the military but also the civilian population there is also benefited towards this in a very very big way. So it covers the land border law in detail, its implications, and how it is going to shape for India, what all should be done for India. That is also covered in this particular this thing. It has also covered the discussions have resulted in the LAC standoff getting addressed, but a buffer zone has got created, which is largely not in the interest of the country. But I'm sure the decision makers at the apex level would be looking at hard things in due course of time, and that will get addressed. But this is a new normal which China has demonstrated, and in addition to the previous claims, at every time it always endeavors to change the claim line, which it has done this time also. Anyway, this standoff has also been characteristics of India occupying Kailash ranges and giving befitting reply to Chinese. Only thing, it was in Galwan when it was taken aback. That was also a part of its larger betrayal only, where the unarmed soldiers were put to fight and death, and they did a heroic act there. So all these aspects have been clubbed in that. I feel every soldier, every student, every youth of the country must read these books, because it is large number of articles which have been curated in that. And an effort has been made to logically put in a manner, so that the reader, even if it reads a particular segment, he or she is able to comprehend in totality. So I have tried to put myself in the shoes of a reader, to just to see that I am able to absorb the content, and that is with the hope that the readers are going to find it useful in their time. And with your blessing, though the book has been published yesterday on the Army Day, and it has already come to the stores, and tomorrow by midday or so, it will be uploaded on Amazon for all the interested buyers to buy and have a look.
Sir, so I've had the honor and fortune of being on some television panels with the general officer, and sir, आपका analysis चाइना पे जब हम बात कर रहे थे, आपका इतना सटीक था, it was so accurate, so bang on. One felt like just going on hearing and learning so much from you. Whenever I read your articles, I keep reading your articles and I keep hearing your analysis. Sir, Sun Tzu, the Chinese author who wrote The Art of War, he mentioned in that the acme of a military general is to win war without fighting. And he mentioned the art of deception and the use of spies, and he spoke about various methodologies. So, tell me, how much do you agree with Sun Tzu's philosophy, sir?
See, the Sinju's philosophy as of now has some relevance. I will not say that it is totally outdated, but it will be unfair on my part as a professional also to say that all its contours are valid, today also. Probably the with the change of time, there are a number of things which are not as relevant as they were at the time when this was articulated. But Sinju's philosophy, as appropriately required to be modified, is something which is being adopted by China as a national policy, and it's in our articulation of was. As against that, it is in India, which we have taken a lot of time now, and actually, in fact, now we have gone in for the project Udbhav, wherein we are looking at the Chanakya Niti and other our scholars to take these points to give new energy to the war fighting. If you remember the historical extent of India during the Mauryan Empire, during the Vijayanagar Empire, during the Ranjit Singh's Empire, it was a far and wide stretched, as even more than what we India we have as of today. And they also had the opposing enemies, but the thought process then that was articulated, but somehow we lost track of history, and because of change of education by Britishers, we had loss of trust in our own education value system and historical treasure. And it is now time that some effort is being made to connect towards that. One is hopeful that in coming days, the thought process of our earlier scholars, and especially the values which are worth practicing. They also don't have to be copied verbatim in each and every field, because number of things have changed, as is applicable for Sunju, that is applicable for our thinkers also. But there are a lot of good things which need to be practiced, and I'm sure the people like you, young generation, the kind of value, energy, and thought process you put in the issues and you referred, I think nation is on the cusp of not only getting limited to the fifth and then thereafter third stage of economic standing in the world stage, but strategically also it will rise to numero uno position in days to come in our lifetime.
Very well said, sir. Sir, the entire LAC, in fact, क्योंकि it's a perception, line of action control, वो पूरा 3,488 kilometers stretch जो है, वो it's not a line of control. So, what are the challenges in fencing it, sir? क्यों वो fencing नहीं हुई अब तक? क्योंकि ये हालांकि ये आंसर मैं जानता हूँ, मगर मैं चाहूंगा कि आप हमारे दर्शकों को समझाएं इसके बारे में, सर, क्यों वो fencing हो नहीं पाई और क्या मुश्किलात हैं उसमें, सर?
See, fencing has got its own pluses as well as minuses. We have gone in for fencing all along the Pakistan border because Pakistan as a nation is employing infiltration as a tool of its national effort to subvert the national growth of India. Now that kind of thing was not that much prevalent in on the Chinese side, except few odd incidents which have been taking place. You will not find that kind of the terrorists and insurgents coming across the line of actual control from China side and doing disturbance here. Of course, there was a time before the relations improved between the countries that insurgents in northeast were being supported by China, but they were also predominantly through the Myanmar and that axis. This axis per se was not being exploited, so that was one reason. Second, when you put some kind of physical infrastructure, whether in terms of fencing and other things, when you don't have these kind of challenges, so sooner or later you get limited to your claim also there, since there are number of areas of differing perception. So you don't know whether if you put it on your own side, then you tend to lose the areas towards the opposite side. If you go towards opposite side as per your prior perception, the enemy, the adversary may not allow that. So I think the except at few passes adjacent areas, the border fencing or LAC fencing has not been attempted in real sense, and things are marked. And except the recent trends and few minor trends in the past, the LAC normally has remained largely has remained peaceful. Of course, there have been conflicts in certain places, but in last 4 years, everything in every dynamics has got changed, and I think China has become more resurgent in its activities. And I think we have to look at not only the fencing but other surveillance means especially, and surveillance means have to be combined by the efficient response means to ensure that we maintain the sanctity of LAC and preserve our national interests.
Sir, so well answered by you, sir. Thank you very much. I know it's late at night and you have been very, very gracious in giving me your time, sir. Sir, I sincerely thank you and I really so hope and pray that your book is a huge success, sir. It's a huge success. बहुत सी ढेर सारी शुभकामनाएं आपको दोबारा, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank
Jai
you,
Hind,
Ali.
sir.
Thank you very much, Jai Hind. And it's matter of honor to speak to you every time. And nothing could be more satisfying for veterans like us to see you youngsters who are, just like my kids. My elder son is a lieutenant colonel serving in the army, and younger one is a
क्या बात कर
squadron
रहे हैं, sir?
leader.
क्या बात कर रहे हैं?
Yeah,
क्या बात कर रहे हैं?
and he
Your
is
son is
serving
a
in the
lieutenant colonel serving in the army.
yes, yes,
लगता
yes,
नहीं, sir.
and
लगता है लेफ्टिनेंट और लेफ्टिनेंट कर्नल, sir.
Lieutenant Colonel, and younger
My
son is
goodness.
a squadron leader in Air Force. So you are just like my son, and one feels so good to find the next generation so knowledgeable, motivated, and full of energy. So one feels the nation is secure in right hands, and thank you very much for making it happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for taking your time, sir. Jai Hind,
Okay.
sir.
Jai Hind.
Sir.